Are we on? Okay, well, let's call the meeting to order. This is the January 16th, 2024 meeting of the Transportation and Circulation Commission, the first meeting of the year. And you will begin with a roll call of commissioners. I'm going to go down, call names. If you're here, please let us know that you're present. We'll start with Commissioner DeGiorgio.
Present.
Commissioner Brown.
Present.
Commissioner Hayden.
Present.
Commissioner Sierrier.
Present.
And Commissioner Weatherspoon.
Present.
And I'm Chair Carr and Commission Chair, and I'm here. We have one vacancy on the commission. We also have staff support here. Patrick Collier is the Transportation Circulation Programs Manager, and Beatrice is managing the audiovisual. So thank you very much for that. Item 3 on the agenda before we go into adoption of the agenda is disclosure and or take action on remote participation by commissioners. All commissioners are here. There's no remote disclosures to report. So that takes care of item number 3. Now, regarding adoption of the agenda, do I have a move to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So the agenda is adopted. Before we go into public comment, I have two administrative items that I need to cover that I will read. So let me do those 2 items, brief items, and then we'll go into public comment. The first is regarding teleconferencing or Zoom access. As a courtesy and technology permitting, members of the public may participate virtually in this meeting. However, the city cannot guarantee that public access to teleconferencing, which is basically the Zoom access, will be uninterrupted, and technical difficulties may occur from time to time. If there is a technical difficulty, every effort will be made to restore teleconference access, Zoom access. However, unless required by the Brown Act, Transportation and Circulation Commission meetings will continue despite technical difficulties for participants using the Zoom option. In the event of a teleconference or Zoom interruption, members of the public are invited to join us here in person. That's the first item. The second is regarding in-person and live or live remote public comments. All public comments under the public comments agenda item as part of this agenda must be within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Circulation and Transportation Commission. All public comments under other agenda items must also relate to that agenda item. If this directive is ignored following a warning by the commission chair or city staff may mute the speaker. The City of Lafayette wants everyone to be aware that we have an obligation under the First Amendment and Brown Act to allow speakers to make their comments, even if they are not compatible with our community values. While commissioners must hear them out, if they are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission, anyone in the room should feel free to step outside. There actually is no one here present today. And anyone at home should feel free to mute your audio. Finally, as a reminder, public comments are limited to 3 minutes. So that concludes these 2 administrative items that I needed to cover. Now we can go into public comment. And public comment at this point of time in the meeting are only for items not part of the current agenda. So I see no speaker slips here. Do we have anyone online?
There are no hands raised.
Okay, so with that, we have no public comments at this point. So we can go to item number 6. Item number 6 is the land acknowledgement statement. This is a statement that the city council and each commission is being asked to read at their first meeting of the new year. So it reads, "We acknowledge that Lafayette, in part of the unceded ancestral homeland of the Bay Miwok." Let me start again. "We acknowledge that Lafayette is part of the unceded ancestral homeland of the Bay Miwok people. The Bay Miwok and neighboring Ohlone people have lived and moved through this place for thousands of years. They stewarded and shaped this land for hundreds of generations. We express our appreciation and gratitude for this profound legacy, which enhances and contributes to our lives to this day. We will strive to honor this land and strengthen our ties with the indigenous communities that continue to live and work in our East Bay region as our neighbors and as community members. We acknowledge and honor them and their ancestors, elders, and the next 7 generations. So with that, we'll go to item number 7, which is old business, and there is none. So we will go to item 8, which is new business. And under new business, we have the draft 2024 work program. And I'll turn it over to staff to introduce that.
Great, okay. Happy New Year, everyone. The staff report today represents the accomplishments from 2023 and the expected work plan for 2024 for not only myself, but this commission as well. This will be discussed at the joint Trans-Circ and City Council meeting, which is scheduled at the City Council meeting on Monday, February 12th. This is done annually, where the chair of each commission hosts a discussion with the City Council about the work plan, essentially, and what the commission is up to and what they expect to discuss over the upcoming year. My staff report does highlight some of the accomplishments from last year. There was a lot of work that happened, a lot of projects and programs that concluded in 2023, including the local road safety plan, which kicked off in 2022 over about a 1-year period. I think it was discussed at Trans-Circ twice, and then there was a joint Trans-Circ and LRSP task force meeting that was held over the summer. The Burton Valley traffic calming pilot project concluded in 2023 after a number of years in the planning, design, and implementation phases. And we held a hearing in March of last year. The traffic calming program was updated in 2023. The engineering and traffic survey was completed and went to City Council. Will be discussed one more time at an upcoming meeting. We discussed a few potential grant opportunities, one TDA grant, as well as one grant from Caltrans for the Sustainable Transportation Planning Grant. And then other contributions by some of the commissioners who sat on other commissions and the LRSP task force. Thank you for that. As for the 2024 work program, maybe I'll just go through each of the projects and then pause to see if there's any questions or comments. But if there's another way you'd like me to handle it, that's fine too.
I think it's fine.
Okay. So as in past years, the projects expected to be discussed at Trans-Circ have been categorized a number of different ways. One of the projects currently underway. These are projects that are funded and in various stages of development. Ongoing programs such as the TARs and things that I routinely bring to the commission on an as-needed basis. Anticipated new tasks and initiatives. This is where things get a little fuzzy, things that we expect may be initiated in the upcoming year. And then desired initiatives, so projects that are kind of in the horizon. This is very ambitious, this work plan, I realize. But it's, advice is usually given to underpromise and overdeliver. However, I do want to communicate this represents the list of projects that could make it to Trans-Circ over the upcoming year. You're all aware that things happen over the year that may derail projects or change the schedules. So my intent was to fully disclose everything that could come to this commission. Going now into the projects that are currently underway. We have a school zone speed limit study. This is a study that's ongoing right now and expected to come to this commission at the next meeting in February. That would identify reduced speed limits within school zones. This has been requested by council a number of times. and the intent of the study is to ensure that our school zone speed limits are compliant with state law.
I have a question.
Yeah,
So is this one being conducted by an outside consultant?
by Parametrics, who also did the engineering and traffic survey study. So this may be part of your question, I'm guessing it is, that the intent is to identify speed limits through those two studies, do some communication over the spring, and then implement them over the summer, meaning new signs as needed, getting the word out to school PTAs, even in the spring, to communicate about the new speed limits.
Okay, and so some of the limits that they've recommended in the ENTS,
Mhm.
they align with the school zones, or it's gonna be actually a change to some segments?
Completely separate roadway segments.
Mm-hmm,
So the
Okay.
school zone speed limits are within 500 feet of a school entrance. And I don't believe there's any overlap between the roadways that were examined in the ENTS and the school study.
oh, okay, okay,
The state is very explicit about what streets are eligible within school zones for reduced speed limits.
okay, thank
There's not
you,
much flexibility in that.
yeah.
Does that
Okay.
make sense? Okay.
Yeah, totally, yeah, thank you.
The Olympic roundabout safety improvements, so Matt is hosting an open house tomorrow night, an online open house for this. So he's hoping to get input on his 80% design for improvements at the roundabout and all the approaches to the roundabout. So this is an attempt to formalize some of the pilot configurations that he's been testing over the past year. Yes,
Yeah, how has that been advertised?
on his A-frames that are across the city, and then the usual social media weekly roundup means. So yeah,
Okay. So you think it has gotten out to the public
I believe so.
pretty well? I
Mhm.
hope so.
I hope so too.
Mhm.
Any questions on that?
Yeah.
And Matt's gonna come here afterwards. That's why it's on the schedule here for first quarter. Yes.
Afterward what? Tonight?
No, he'll be here in February.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what time is it tomorrow?
It is 6 p.m.
6
via
p.m.
Zoom.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
is the material he's going to present tomorrow pretty much what we have right now on the street? So just formalizing what we currently see?
Well, yes and no. I mean, the delineators would be removed and curbs would be constructed as part of the project is what the proposal is, right? So
Okay,
it's formalizing, taking out the pilot materials and formalizing it through curb.
okay, so but what we see there would be just
Yes.
replicated, but with curb,
Mhm, right.
yeah, okay.
He's gonna go into that in detail tomorrow, I
That's
assume.
right. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, one thing I noticed was there was a city Facebook post about the project, which did get comments. I don't know if those individuals will go to the meeting, but I just encourage you to take a look at them and.
Suzanne
consume
does monitor the Facebook account
Mhm.
and does pull comments off and send it to.
Oh, good, okay, very good, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Pleasant Hill Road Center Median Pathway, I've also got the Center, this Pleasant Hill Road East Side Pathway Project as a separate one, on item D. So for the Center Median Pathway, as you're aware, Matt went to council last week and did get some input from the council. One is to complete the Center Median design that we have the funding for, and so he is going to host an open house to talk about that design in the upcoming months, and then we'll come here to this commission after that meeting. And then the input that he received from council at last week's meeting is to on the east side alignment is to prepare the strip map with pros and cons analysis versus the center median pathway, and then evaluate the results of the RRF installation that's happening on the on and off ramps. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I haven't gone through the 100 pages on that, on the staff document that was for this meeting. And I'm not really clear on what is a strip map. Can you explain that?
Essentially, it's a concept design that's public friendly, right? That identifies the right of way and what some of the features of the project would include.
Okay.
Is it available on the online?
I'm sorry, Vianney?
Is it available on online? Sorry.
It hasn't been developed yet, so Matt just got the input last week
Okay.
to prepare that. Okay. Matt is also overseeing the 2024 overlay project, which are all the street maintenance projects that's going to take place over the summer. There are a few projects where he's going to come here actually within this quarter to get some input on some potential decisions that can be made to the designs, right, particularly for pedestrian and bike improvements. So, for example, Mount Diablo Boulevard is expected to be resurfaced from Alcalanes Road to Dolores, so on the west end. And so he'd like to get some input on that design before the designs are completed.
I'm sorry, I'm a little
That's okay.
brain fog on this. When it's called an overlay project, what is this project overlaying? Is it just whatever the existing plans are? Or is there, it's not like downtown specific, it's something bigger, right?
No, it's the roads that are being resurfaced. So either resurfaced or slurry seal. So
So overlay mean like the layer.
Yes.
So it's not resurface, so it's the next year's resurfacing.
no, these are this summer's plans.
This summer's plan.
Resurfacing plans. Yeah,
Okay.
So we'll be seeing that pretty soon, I would think.
very soon.
When are you doing Release Station Road?
Oh, that's a question for Matt. I don't know. He's got the next 3 or 4 years plotted out. Release station. It's not on next year's.
Okay, when it comes up, we make a mental note to tell them that we have always used, and for that reason, we didn't have any skidding problems at all.
Mhm.
We have always used open graded asphalt on Release Station Road. And that's very important because we haven't been using open graded asphalt, and we've experienced slides and collisions and all kinds of stuff that we never got with open grade. It's more expensive,
Mhm.
but it's terribly useful.
Okay.
Can you remember that?
I
Take
just
a
took a
note.
note, but Matt will also be here
Yeah.
probably at the next meeting
Yeah,
to talk about the 2024 project, but
yeah.
can answer questions about release station.
Thank you.
Is Moraga Road going to be worked on in 2024, do you know?
No.
Okay.
No, that's 2026.
Okay.
The next project down is the Connecting Lafayette project. I assume many of you are familiar with that. So we held a public open house in December. This month, we're doing a lot of one-on-one stakeholder meetings with the school district and town hall theater, so on, School Street residents. Based on the input we've received and are receiving, we will make updates to the concept designs and come back here again for the next public open house and before the next city council meeting.
I have a question. I know that you had the survey for participants at the open house, but then you had it available for people to fill out afterwards. But it was available only during that holiday time. I think you preferred to get them by the end of December. So did you get a number of submissions?
Yeah, and on the project webpage, everything has been uploaded.
Okay.
Meaning all the meeting materials, but then also all the responses that came in via that survey and via the sticky notes at the meeting on the boards.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
very good.
So
And if,
that's I'm sorry.
sorry, just if people have comments, is the
Of
mailbox
course.
still open?
Continue to send them to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very
but
good.
this spring, we are anticipating doing a pretty robust survey as well. We just want to get to that next iteration of concept design.
Mhm.
So we expect to, similar to the local road safety plan survey, have it open for a number of weeks, do a really big communications effort around it to get input citywide.
Mhm. Okay, great.
So, but the response from the December meeting, the survey response and the sticky notes, all that is available now
Yes,
online at
on the
the
project webpage.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's good to know. And again, just to, remind or explain again the order of what's going to happen. So you say it'll come back to us and then there'll be another open house and then it
Another-
goes to council. Is that what
That's
I
right.
heard you say? Okay.
That's right. Mhm.
And is there a time frame of when we might, since we're gonna be the first in that order, is there a time frame for that?
Probably late March.
Oh,
Yes.
that question was answered.
Okay.
Okay.
The 5-year CIP, Mike is developing that, and so that is the 5-year kind of funding program for upcoming transportation projects, 2025 to 2030. And so he's developing that now and would come in here to talk about what those priorities are. Pedestrian pathway near Spring Hill School. This was a successful grant application from last year that would result in design and construction of the pathway on the west side of Pleasant Hill Road between Spring Hill School and the Briones staging area. We got too few engineers and too many projects to design, but we are expecting to start that design phase this year. It just hasn't been started. Yes.
Yeah, what do you mean by the Brioni staging area? And the reason I ask is because I wrote a grant request for the property between Spring Hill and Reilly's Valley Road, and we did get that. Mike didn't think we would, but we did get it. And is that what we're talking about? Where
No.
are you talking about with the Briones?
The parking lot, the parking lot for
The trailhead going into Briones.
Yeah,
just south of the school.
South of the school.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
I think that's good. That's terrific. It's gonna be expensive though, I would think.
Yes, but yes. And we'll have a better sense once we do a survey and understand the
man,
grading issues, because there are some. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Why is it has to, if we're gonna be using outside design help, why, no,
We're
we're,
doing it in-house.
oh, we are,
Yeah.
okay, that's why it's been in Q4.
Mhm.
What would it cost to send it out for outside design work?
Probably more than the grant, much more than the grant was worth.
Okay, all right.
We don't do it, but will we have a soils engineer to help with that? Because that's a landslide area.
We will be getting a survey done. I don't know if soils will be part of that, but
Will you somehow? I can't very well say ensure, but will you try your very level best and let us know if it doesn't happen, because all that property slides over there.
Maybe we can just ask Patrick just to look into that, make a
Yeah.
note of it and we'll look into it.
Huh?
Maybe we can ask Patrick just to make a note of that, your
Yeah.
request, your comment.
Yeah, just
And-
so long as it happens.
Well, it's a low risk area for there.
Yeah.
It's right next to the baseball fields near the street, and it's not gonna slide into the street.
And is it
yeah.
going to be right next to the street?
It's between the school property and Pleasant Hill Road.
yeah. It's
Between
flat.
the school and Pleasant, okay,
It runs alongside the fence to the ball field,
yeah,
so it's a bit tucked back from the road, but it's fairly
It's
level.
not up next to the hill though.
Not a hill.
Oh, no,
Okay,
no, not
okay.
next to the hill.
Okay,
I do know what you're talking about, because yes, there was a landslide last year.
yes.
Equipment.
And then the final project on this list, the Smart Signal Project. This is a regional project to upgrade signals throughout the county to make them more responsive. And so Mike is overseeing this with CCTA and our counterparts in Moraga and Orinda. The design has not begun yet on this project, but I'll bring someone in from CCTA to this commission to give a sense of what the project entails and what the schedule is.
Is this something that we have agreed to?
It is something that the city has agreed to, yeah,
It has,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So we don't have to decide anything.
No, this would be an informational item.
Okay, that'd be interesting. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, it should be an interesting presentation. So those are the projects that are currently underway. In terms of ongoing programs, these are just annual programs that come up generally as needed. Traffic calming projects, so this commission helped provide input for the updated traffic calming program. As you remember, it's now on an annual cycle, and so applications were due in September. We did data evaluation, and now there are a number of projects that have been approved into the program. Again, we have to start engineering work on that, and once that's completed, the applicants will be informed that we'll have a hearing here at Transurc and then at council for those who want to provide verbal support or not for each of those projects.
Can you give us an idea of the projects?
Well, there are 7 streets that have been approved into the program, and largely kind of the traffic calming measure that is the least expensive, least impactful, but has the most impact on reducing vehicle speeds are speed humps.
Yeah.
Those aren't feasible on every single street for a number of different reasons, and so there's a few very complex streets with a lot of complex issues that we need to consider before we're able to come to the commission with our recommendations for traffic calming.
Especially considering that the neighbors hate them.
Well,
No.
They like the lower speeds, but
Yeah.
they don't like the bumps and the noise. And,
So
it
that,
works, but they
Excuse me.
work.
they do work.
They certainly work.
Yes, so
Yeah, just a question. So for the program, how many applications did you get?
well, this year was atypical because if you remember, there were no traffic calming projects for probably 2 or 3 years. So I think I had maybe 12, 13, 14.
Okay,
Yeah.
oh,
that's pretty good.
good.
But again, a lot of them came in even before I started as TARS, and I just, accepted that as an application.
Mhm.
Interestingly, since September, I don't know if I've received even an email about traffic calming. So I think there were just years of kind of pent up.
Yeah.
So this will be much larger than in future years, I expect.
In terms of the number
In
of
terms of the number,
awards and
yeah.
approvals, yeah. Okay, and do you have a dedicated funding source for these, or?
We have a sinking fund for traffic calming that I expect to use for this year because there are so many. In the future, I will have to just request it every year.
Okay,
School safety.
Okay. School safety near-term implementation, this is the long list of projects that were prioritized by this commission in maybe 2021. And largely that list is complete. There's a large number of striping work that's happening around the schools right now that's being delayed because of the weather. and that will take care of a lot of the remaining projects. Some of the, I know. Some of the larger capital projects are still on the plate. So,
Yeah.
including 2 raised crosswalks, the improvements at Stanley at Camino Diablo,
That they've done.
the
I
new
believe
curb
so.
ramps.
The curb ramps are done. They did.
Okay. Another
They're
one done.
busy, those engineers.
Yeah, no
They
kidding.
just get stuff done.
Really?
Yeah, they did
Okay.
a curb ramp on either side
Yeah,
and they also striped the third leg.
yep. Okay.
So, yeah, it's good. The only piece that I'm gonna submit one of those online requests for is just some red curb paint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's great. It
Well,
works.
Actually, send that to me soon because we have a company that's going around doing restriping around all the schools.
Okay.
A lot of upgrades to striping, and so I can include that
Oh, okay,
as part of
perfect.
that. So please just send me an email
I will
tomorrow.
do that. Yeah, I
Okay.
saw them out on the street by Akalani's.
Yeah.
Before the rain. So yeah, I'll
Yeah.
do that.
Okay,
Patrick,
yes,
does that include, churros? Is that what they're called?
Churros? Mhm.
Churros? Does that include?
there are no new sharrows that are proposed.
No, but to revamp the old one.
It depends on the school and how. We weren't upgrading, we were only upgrading if the striping was really,
Right.
worn,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you're gonna redo them, can you do them with a green background and, because I see that in, Orinda, and also in Denville as well.
Yeah, we're not gonna install greenback sharrows everywhere, I think if you have specific locations, let me know, and I'll look
Okay.
into it.
Okay.
Carl, did you have a question? No, okay. Tower updates, I'm bringing them here quarterly. Development project review, we haven't had in some time. But that is, when the planning department asks, when there's a large enough development where a traffic study is required. We haven't had one in quite some time. I don't think there's much happening in terms of housing construction right now. And then grants to be pursued, and I bring those as. Yes,
Did the sort of the laundry list of grants that we looked at 2 months or so ago go to city council
next Monday.
next month? Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Patrick, can I just, before you jump out of ongoing programs, I just have a question about the school
Yeah.
projects, the school safety near-term implementation projects. It's kind of listed in here as finishing up in Q4, which is sort of the fall, right?
Yeah,
Would it be summer work though, or,
I'm hoping so. I'm
okay,
hoping
so maybe it would be in Q3,
Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, moving on to anticipated new tasks and initiatives. So this is where things get a little fuzzier, of course. So the first one is the Moraga Road planning exercise. This was on that list of potential grant opportunities that the commission discussed back in September.
What page are you on?
The second page of the, I'm on the calendar.
Okay, is this, what,
Item O, next page,
Item,
next page.
next page? Helps to be able to see.
So, Matt is anticipating a 2026 repaving effort on Moraga Road. And so as part of that, we get tons of emails, calls about improved conditions for drivers, improved conditions for cyclists, improved conditions for pedestrians, put in a turn lane.
Good luck.
Slow it
Address
down.
gridlock, and so this project is an opportunity to talk with the public about what are your values for this street, and so I'm expecting that staff will oversee this effort. There's a lot of work we need to do before we can kick it off publicly, just to get a better understanding of the corridor. But, it has to be done. If there are changes that are desired by the members of the public, we need to know of them now-ish, over the next year. So that it can be included as part of the overlay plans for that street.
Patrick,
Yeah,
is this right from Diablo all the way up to Moraga?
Mount Diablo all the way down, I believe, to Old Jonas. I believe,
Oh,
That's the repaving extent
yes.
or
I believe
the,
so. Yeah,
it is so repaving, it's actually a reconstruction of the road?
I believe so.
Okay,
So it's gonna be a major project.
Major project.
mhm.
Sorry, Lynn has her hand
Oh,
up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I just wanted to know, the Moraga Road is the one road that we've had fatalities on. And usually we don't get fatalities in Lafayette, but Moraga Road, we certainly do. And, I was wondering, I can't remember. Do we have? What do you call the stops, the lines, the stop lines? Before the stop. So that the driver is pulling up and stopping at the line and then,
before the crosswalk,
yeah.
stop bar. They're called stop
Is that
bars.
what you're,
Mhm.
okay, do we have those at all of the intersections
Not all,
on Moraga Road?
not all, some.
We probably should. And are they particularly by the church and in the places where people cross in the more busy areas?
I believe next to the school,
Yeah,
Lafayette Elementary School at Brook.
yeah. How about in the shopping areas and the
Uh,
church over there by the church?
The church.
Intersects with Moraga
I
Boulevard.
don't think is there an intersection there? Moraga Boulevard. Oh, I'm not sure. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, okay. Would you look into that? Because we really need those. Stop bars
Mhm.
and stops before they get to the crossing people.
Yep.
So they don't hit them, and they do hit them. Unfortunately, I mean, people, there is a sign that Hawaii has that I would love to have for California, and I don't think we can just request a sign. Maybe we can, but I don't know. Anyway, Hawaii has signs that show a diagonal line, a yellow diagonal line across the sign. People were crossing the road like this,
Mhm.
or looking at their cell phones. And they get tickets. And I would love to be able to ticket people who have their noses to the ground when they're crossing the street. And you see it all the time. It's so incredibly dangerous. Anyway,
That makes
Okay.
if there's anything we can do, will you do your best to see if we can get signs
Well, that'll happen in
that
Q3.
show, huh?
Isn't that part of the whole Q3 exercise you're talking about?
I don't know where to put it, I just want them. I just think
So,
we
let me-
need to.
Let me, for Lynn's suggestion and others, it sounds like this year is the year where you want to collect input from the public for changes on Moraga Road.
Right.
And is there gonna be a public hearing at some point of time? And you don't have a date for it, but is there a time frame? Will it come?
Well, I've
You know,
got
in the
Q3
fall or-
here, right, I've got
right.
Q3, I think Matt and I are gonna tackle this together, there's a lot of homework we need to do
Right,
in advance of that. So, I'd love to kick it off at some point later this year.
how about some speed bumps?
Not on Moraga Road.
No.
Yes,
It's so narrow, Moraga Road. The sidewalks are such little itty bitty sidewalks.
mhm,
And you see a child trying to ride his or her bike next to the daddy or the mommy or straight ahead, and the sidewalks are about like that.
Mhm.
Scared, and the speeding traffic is going. It's almost breathtaking, it's so risky. If anything you can do,
Yeah,
please. Thank you.
Okay,
okay. The next three projects are related, so the first one is the downtown parking management planning study, so that was another successful grant from last year. I'm still waiting for the funding. I've now heard that it may not come to us until late spring, early summer. But that would basically that would be a parking supply and demand study in our downtown area with recommendations on how to better find balance between the supply and demand. The expected changes in land use, including the partial loss of the parking lots, will be included as part of that study. And it will feed into, the results of that should feed into the next item, which is the circulation element update, which is one of the chapters in the general plan. And from what I understand from the planning department, who would be leading that effort, that may kick off in the spring, the circulation plan update. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. It's going to happen after the land use element update. Is that correct, Stella?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've been told, which
Okay.
we'll begin to discuss in February.
Okay, okay. It is expected that a chapter of the circulation element will address Mount Diablo Boulevard specifically. And so I've got Mount Diablo Boulevard corridor plan as a separate item. And that would explore multimodal improvements to Mount Diablo Boulevard and the downtown as a whole. And it's expected to be tucked within the circulation element. So all of those three efforts will be large. The circulation element update and the Mount Diablo Boulevard corridor plan will be led by the planning department, but obviously I'll have a large role in that. And then the downtown parking management planning study will, I'll have a consultant helping me with that work.
And I hope we will.
Hope we will.
I hope the commission will also. Our commission.
Yeah. So all three of these will come to this commission as appropriate.
I have a question. So when you say planning department staff are taking the lead, will they be engaging a transportation planning consulting firm?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you'll be working with them, but they'll just be the ones sending out the RFP or
Right.
whatever, signing off on the work that's been done. Okay, but you'll be a
Yeah.
central player in this. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. And then in terms of the approach or the details, do you have any more information about how they would go about conducting this corridor plan?
I don't.
Okay,
I don't. It has not been scoped yet.
okay. Okay, and are they going to, like, do you know what their time frame is for it? Are they gonna wait until after the land use element? Or?
I don't know how it's gonna be sequenced.
Mhm,
I mean, the parking study is kind of its own special beast, right? And
Mhm.
so I have a funding source for that, and the second I get it, I'm gonna kick that off.
mhm,
That can happen without the other two projects happening. The other two really have to go hand in hand.
okay,
And the circulation element is what the state tells it has to be.
right.
The corridor plan needs to be tightly scoped.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering about, when that scope might come
Yeah.
about, but it sounds like it's uncertain.
It is
Right now.
uncertain, right?
Okay,
What I'm hoping to do, in addition to that, is also tuck in some updating to the priorities of the walkways and bikeways master plan. So
mhm,
I didn't want to add another special study, which is adding to an already very long
Mhm.
list. And I'm thinking that some critical updates can be done as part of the circulation element update, as long as we have the funding for that. There will be a large effort around that, and we can get input on pedestrian bike priorities that will help us, at least in the near term, with an eye to getting funding in maybe 2025 to officially update those master plans.
Okay, so kind of look at that downtown corridor area,
Mhm.
pretty much do a master planning effort for bike and ped with those funds, with those studies and initiatives, and then in a year or two, get some more money
Layering on top of
and
that.
then do the areas around downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, it makes sense. Yeah,
Yes.
I was just going to say, I can't resist. I have to say that we have been studying Mount Diablo Boulevard and making changes since 1968. That's when we incorporated, yeah. That's all.
And we'll try again.
And we'll try, keep trying, yeah, every bit helps.
And I'm sorry, maybe you mentioned this and I missed it, but so the corridor plan will happen after the circulation element update, or is it gonna be at the same time, or
I don't know.
kind of at the same time?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm not sure. It should happen at the same time, in my opinion, but as part of the circulation plan update with a special focus on Mount Diablo Boulevard and improving multi-mobility. But I can't commit to that because it hasn't been scoped.
Do we have,
Opinions on that?
do we have any indication as to how and if the county bus will be cooperative or interested in taking part?
They've not been communicated with at this point, but they will be. They're stakeholders for sure.
For sure, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
just one thought, on the
Mhm.
corridor plan, it seems like the level of detail in that would be greater than what would normally be in a circulation element.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a
Mhm.
chapter of, and I guess that's just the 2 cents that, it certainly could be a chapter of, but when I read this, I think it would get into a lot more detail than what I would normally see in a general plan circulation element.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure it is. Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
So it really might be in the element in its full glory.
Well, I mean,
Or
it's part
maybe a
of the
standalone,
process when
link.
you're developing a circulation plan
Okay,
to have one process that encompasses everything rather than having 2 or 3 separate processes.
Mhm.
It's easier to manage, and it's probably easier for the public to understand and be engaged.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, the next one, the right turn on red restrictions along Mount Diablo Boulevard. This was also on the list of potential grant priorities that was discussed here a few months ago. Again, this is just something that has been envisioned, but no work has been done on. But again, this is consideration of pedestrian safety improvements at key downtown intersections. This goes back to a lot of the input we received from the local road safety plan and continue to receive by phone calls and emails and TARs, which is the challenges for pedestrians in crossing Mount Diablo Boulevard at several of the larger intersections like Moraga Road. And so we would start a process to explore potential right turn on red restrictions to help pedestrian safety and comfort along the downtown corridor. Yep.
Is there a possibility of exploring a scramble system? I've seen them in very large cities even.
Yes.
Wonder if it.
All I'm gonna say is yes, it can be explored.
Yeah, you
Yes.
don't know whether one way or the other. I can't remember what, we did try that for a while, and I can't remember. Does anyone remember any of the results of that?
You mean, well, we had the two right turns.
No, this was maybe 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and we had a scramble system right in the center
Moraga
At the
Road?
T.
on Moraga Road in Mount Diablo.
What is a scramble?
No, does anyone remember? No?
Nope.
Scramble phase is where there's a pedestrian only phase, so
Oh.
pedestrians. can
Everybody
cross
walks.
At once.
Yeah, usually used in very high
Yeah,
density
yeah.
intersections,
Yeah,
right?
I
So,
don't remember any of that.
it-
No.
It's
Question.
probably not feasible because of traffic impacts and
Yeah.
not enough pedestrian
As well, yeah,
activity.
otherwise the lights would
Could
be
be,
so
could
long.
be.
I have a question just on that right turn on red restriction. Why would it come after the Moraga Road planning exercise? They seem kind of all one area.
I suppose it could be included, but we're also thinking about First Street and potentially Oak Hill, along Mount Diablo, so it is.
Oh, with right
It
turn
might
on
be
red?
incorporated
Oh,
as part of the
along.
Mount Diablo
Oh.
Boulevard corridor plan. That might be a better
Oh.
way to tuck it in.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was more than one intersection. I thought it was just at the T.
It had been.
So-
Uh,
Oh, okay.
To be fair, it had been, and Mike said, well, we should consider the, the three main intersections, because we do receive a lot of comments about all three of those intersections. Moraga Road the most,
Yeah,
by far,
yeah.
but those other two intersections as well.
And those were, you said, Oak
Oak Hill
Hill
at first.
and First. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Again, this is something that we've done no work on, and so, but I do want to include it on the list because it may be initiated as part of one of these other projects, or it may be initiated as a standalone, and so I don't want,
Mm-hmm,
I do want to be transparent.
that's great.
The last two projects are desired, but may or may not come to fruition in 2024. So the East Bay Mud Aqueduct Pathway, again, I think this commission knows I'm trying to resurrect that project and find funding. Was unsuccessful last year. We're going to try again this year to try to find funding for either just detailed design or design and construction. So we may or may not be successful in that. So I'm keeping it on the list because don't want to let that
Mhm.
just stay on the shelf.
Yeah, it's important.
Mhm,
Do we have the permission from EB Mud?
we do.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good thing to know, but one thing that I'm wondering is how would we, or a major problem is how we would get from one high point to another high point without building a pedestrian bridge somehow.
Right. Yes.
Do we hook it onto a bridge? Do we drop people down to cross the street and back
It's not
up
easy.
again? No, that's exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. And require a lot of money to solve those
Yeah,
problems.
definitely.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe we need a
all we need is
rope
funding.
bridge. What?
Was that one the Sustainable Communities grant that was unsuccessful for the aqueduct?
Yes, that one I applied for, they wouldn't fund anything beyond concept designs, and so,
Mm,
I applied to that grant opportunity basically to take another look at the 2012 study.
mhm.
But they wouldn't fund anything beyond concept design.
Oh,
Yeah,
which we
so
kind of already
it was
had.
kind of. It wasn't gonna be that, it would have been great to have gotten that, but it
Mhm.
wouldn't have gotten us into detailed design, which is really where I'd rather be, because then you're better positioned for some of the larger grant programs and getting funding for construction,
Yeah,
so.
okay.
And the last project here is the Olympic Boulevard Corridor Study. It was on last year's list as well, and so this is a, CCTA had contacted myself and my counterparts at the county and Walnut Creek. There's a 2015 corridor study to improve pedestrian and bicycle access along the Olympic corridor between the Iron Horse Trail and the Lafayette Moraga Trail. Great project. I believe they're looking for funding to reinitiate that,
Where do they want to connect with the Iron Horse Trail?
our trail.
Yeah,
So
No, the Iron Horse, how do they want to connect that part of our trail with the Iron Horse Trail?
via Olympic Boulevard and potentially Newell Avenue
Yeah.
in Walnut Creek.
And
So
then, yes, but look where Newell goes. Before you get to the Iron Horse Trail, you're in Danville, I think.
no, it goes through Walnut Creek.
Walnut Creek.
The Iron Horse Trail.
Where does
Yeah.
it go? I don't remember.
Comes out by Kaiser
Yeah.
Hospital.
Yeah, by Kaiser. Mhm.
Is it right next to the Whole Foods?
Yeah,
Yes.
Is that it?
and you continue down
Right
to
there.
Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Walnut Creek was thinking of turning Newell into a one-way street. I don't know whether it's still on the.
Walnut Creek I think they're busy right now doing small improvement projects along this corridor. But, this effort would kind of take a holistic look at all three jurisdictions.
Okay.
Which again makes it more competitive in grant programs.
Yeah, okay.
They should really, if they're going to in any way be affecting the Lafayette Moraga Trail, they should check with East Bay Regional Park District.
It wouldn't touch the trail itself, it would just be the connections between
Yeah,
those
well,
two
okay.
trails.
Yeah, okay. Let us all pray.
Well, there is a trail part on Olympic toward Walnut Creek. It's actually a ways from Olympic, if I may say, all the way to there's a gas station.
mm-hmm,
There's a walkway on part of it.
yeah,
There
it's
is a bicycle. There was a bicycle.
Is it?
On Olympic?
yeah, it's on Olympic on the south side.
Correct.
Mhm.
Just for my education, is there a difference between a corridor plan and a corridor study? Or is it just semantics?
No.
Yeah.
But good question and good catch.
Yeah, good.
Carl?
Not on the list, and this was something that we talked about a year or two ago. Pleasant Hill Road, there was a talk about needing a multi-jurisdictional kind of long-range plan for Pleasant Hill Road going up through Pleasant Hill and Concord, Martinez, whatever. And so I know it's not, there's no resources for it and no money. I didn't know if there's any talk of that with CCTA. And I'm only raising it because with Teresa leaving, I don't know who's gonna fill the role as that in that, but I wanna keep that topic alive at some point.
So as part of the La Miranda action plan, maybe this
Yes.
is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
There were a number of corridor management studies that had been called out as being a priority, Pleasant Hill Road being one of them.
Mhm.
I had engaged CCTA and tried to encourage them to initiate that this year, given the questions that are being asked for the Pleasant Hill Road Pathway project.
Yeah.
They're going to be focusing in the near term on a countywide evacuation plan. And so at this time, a Pleasant Hill Road Corridor Management Study, which would be multi-jurisdictional,
Yeah,
is not scoped or
Okay.
funded.
that's fine. As
Yeah.
long as you remember it. That's
Mhm.
good.
Okay, so,
I have
So-
one
so-
more question, sorry.
okay.
Actually, two more questions about this. So one, going back to Moraga Road planning exercise, you mentioned evacuation study on the county level. And so Moraga Road is a major evacuation route. And I'm just wondering if there'll be a component, an evacuation study component to this Moraga Road planning exercise. It would seem important.
Evacuation, it would have to be a part of the the Moraga Road planning exercise, yes,
Mhm.
right. You're asking whether or not that will be a part of the CCTA study?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, the CCT study was what made me,
Oh, okay.
think about the Moraga Road planning exercise as really, it seems like it's a significant area that to me seems like you'd need a pretty rigorous analysis,
Mhm.
quantitative analysis.
Mhm.
Almost like a traffic study.
Yes, there's a
Um,
lot of homework that needs to be done.
yeah,
I'm acknowledging that, yeah.
yeah. So I just wanted to raise that because,
Mhm.
as we were discussing planning exercise, it was sort of a little bit more like, how do you use this? How would you like to use it? Which is,
Yes, but the city, we have to set parameters.
Yeah.
Around what's feasible.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
sounds good.
it can't be an open, that street
Yeah.
in particular can't be
Yeah.
a. Whatever you'd like to see, you can have, it has to be within set parameters. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think to date, the only study that the city's done is a evacuation analysis for the housing element EIR,
Mhm,
which was very narrow in its scope.
mhm.
And so, I question whether it's sufficient for network changes, for us. So there is some stuff in the safety element that calls out kind of, in the goals, policies, programs.
Mhm.
I think there's some programs that are called out as part of evacuation analysis.
Okay,
It might be worth taking a look at and seeing how it can fold in. Cognizant that this is a really substantial work plan.
Mhm.
You know, you're taking on a lot of really important things. I do have one other question though, and not to pile on like, and another thing, are you thinking about this? We talked a little bit about the kind of continuing the Vision Zero task force after LRSP. And so I'm wondering if you have thoughts on that, or if that'll sort of just be suspended animation while these other projects are underway this year.
Good question. I don't know if I can take on another task force. It may just be this commission. And let me think about that and get back to you at the next meeting.
Totally reasonable.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then as part of that, last thing, I swear, the slow down Lafayette work that you're doing with the police department is super great, and it would be so excellent to have some updates at like our meetings, just
Okay.
kind of what's been happening, what are they observing, what are they doing? And I'd love to see some more of the measurements.
Mhm.
The website, I think, still has the ones that were up when Andy came and presented to us.
Okay. Yeah, yes.
A question.
Mhm.
Are we all aware of where the traffic is coming from? Down Moraga Road from the south? Do we all know that they're coming even farther than Silicon Valley?
It's data that I can collect.
Yeah, because that's what's happening. And particularly anyone who uses that route will tell you that they can save about an hour off of their trips by going through Lafayette. A lot of the Moraga residents seem to think that they're all Lafayette residents, but they're not Lafayette residents. They're cutting through us. And the same thing happens that becomes Release Valley. That area also becomes victim to the same thing. They get Moraga Road. They get Pleasant Hill Road traffic, and it's coming all the way from sometimes way down past Silicon Valley even. And not anywhere near Alameda County. And the more and we've been warned about this in the past too, the easier we make Moraga Road and really Station Road, the easier we make the travel, the more people we will get. Because it becomes better and better and better, and they add more and more and more people. And so I don't think we should do that. I know that there's going to be probably pressure put on to make us a route of regional significance for Moraga Road. We have always avoided that like fury. For that reason, because we want control of our own road instead of the CCTA taking it out of our hands and making it a group vote. So I don't know what the answer is, but I don't think that it is a matter of let's all widen the road so that we'll do a good job of making it easy for everybody to travel, because that's not what's going to work. It's only going to work against us, and we don't want that. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents worth there.
Going back to Stella's question or comment regarding the local road Vision Zero local roadway safety plan. How is this commission monitoring what is being done with that plan over the time? Is there any mechanism that's happening?
Not currently.
Okay.
It is something.
So I have a
we to
suggestion.
set up. Yeah.
I have a suggestion, maybe on a quarterly basis,
Mhm.
as that plan is executed in whatever way that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You can report back to us and let us know what is happening with that.
I mean, it may be that I come back with annual collision figures, as well as what's been done engineering wise on those streets.
Right, and I assume in some of the projects that we've been discussing in our plan here, then the LRSP will be involved in that too.
Yeah, right. Mhm.
Right,
Right, because we've committed to evaluating the changes that we make on the street.
Right.
Yeah.
right, okay. Before we go to public comment on this agenda item, are there any other questions, comments from the commission? If not, then no one is here. Do we have anybody online that wants to comment?
There is no hands raised.
No hands, okay. Then we'll bring it back to the commission for any additional comments, and if there are none, then staff recommendation is to adopt this draft work plan. So are there any other discussion on it? Yes, Carl?
So, I know that this is a good staff report, and I expect that it will be very useful in the February 12th meeting or as a basis for that. I don't know if there's any way to, I don't want to say fluff, but to add in, something to the effect that, there's a whole lot of work that was done in previous years on this safe around schools, a lot of which got executed recently. Seems like this. So even though we didn't consider it here, it got completed. And I don't know if there's any way to work that in. If you do presentations or anything, you could have pictures of completed school projects or something of that nature.
Mhm.
That's it.
Any other comments on the work plan? Does anybody want to make a motion to adopt the work plan for 2024?
So move.
Second,
Okay, we'll go for a vote. All in favor to adopt the work plan?
Aye.
I hear no nays, so the work plan is adopted.
All right.
Very good.
So the next step will be, we'll go to the city council and make a presentation to them. Is that
Yep.
correct? Okay. The next item on the agenda is commission and staff updates, commissioner and staff updates. So we'll start with commission updates. Anyone have an update they would like to make? So-
Kind of made it before, but just again, the general plan advisory committee will be meeting in February to commence the land use planning element or the land use element.
That's great.
Okay,
And I'll let you know at our next meeting how that goes, because our schedule's been shifting quite a bit. And so this is just, I think, at this point, a tentative plan.
Land use of what?
The city, land use across the city. So
Oh.
zoning and
Oh,
land use.
okay.
The planning department have recently lost 2 key planners,
yeah, who did they lose?
Renata and Nancy.
Oh, the plant, yeah.
Yeah. Which may put that schedule a little off kilter as well as some of the things on this list.
Hmm.
I have a question for staff. The last time with the meeting, we talked about the TDA Article 3 funding, which went to city council. I just was curious when we'll hear back from Contra Costa on that
Probably not till the fall,
fall. Okay, thank you.
based on experience from last year
Mm-hmm.
and past years, yeah.
Good.
Anyone else? Is there a staff update you want to provide?
I don't have any.
Okay. Then the last item on our agenda is adjournment. So I'm gonna adjourn unless there's anything else. I'm gonna adjourn the meeting.
Thank you very much.
Meeting's